In the spring of 2000, my son was born. It was negative 10 degrees, and 3 days later, it snowed 6 feet. When you live in a climate like that, you cannot wait to get outside. And so, at the first sight of warmth, I grabbed my Baby Bjorn backpack, front pack thing, and I grabbed my son and I stuffed him in, his little legs dangling, his head right here, and we headed to the park. On this particular day, it wasn't very crowded, and as I walked, we kind of made our way towards a parking lot. In the lot is this long brown sedan, and on the passenger side, there was a little girl, and she was running around the front. So she was about this tall, and at the time I didn't know what 4 looked like, but I think she was about 4. And she came running around the front of the car, and as she passed the driver's side, a woman got out of the car. And she hit that little girl so hard across the face that it knocked her to the ground. Moments like that change your life. They create these passion points inside of you. And for just a second, I almost forgot about this sweet child dangling from the front of me as I ran to stop that second swing. I'm guessing that each of you has a passion point, something that's happened in your life that has inspired action, or for you to start volunteering, or maybe charitable giving, or even like me, started a career in nonprofit. No matter how you get there, or what role you take when you arrive, it is very likely that when you get there, you'll find an unsatisfying system that is not very impactful on a very large scale. In 2017, Giving USA tells us that Americans donated $390 billion to charity. In fact, we've been giving more and more almost every year since 1976. 72% of all of those gifts come from you and me, individuals, not big business. So where is it all going exactly? Well, 35% of it is going to religious causes. They get the biggest piece of the pie year after year. Another sector that gets a lot is the human services sector. So in 2017, it received 15%, which roughly equals about $46.8 billion just in 2017. And these go to nonprofits that are serving areas like poverty or homelessness or hunger. So what did we get exactly for our $46.8 billion? Well, the UC Center for Poverty Research tells us that the poverty rate in 2017 was kind of fluctuating between 11 and 13%, exactly what it's been doing since the mid-60s. The USDA says 12% of us were hungry, the exact same percentage that were hungry in 1995. So how is it that we're donating hundreds of billions of dollars and we're not feeling an impact? Lots of people will blame the nonprofits. High overhead expenses, exorbitant CEO salaries are preventing the dollars that we donate from ever getting to the programs that solve the problems that are so important to us. Charity Navigator is a nonprofit watchdog group. And their most recent CEO salary survey tells us that the median CEO salary for somebody who does something like Save the Whales or Stop Child Abuse is $123,000 and change. Hardly extravagant when you compare that to what the Economic Policy Institute tells us during that same period of time for-profit CEOs were making. These are the people who are selling us widgets and telling us where to put all of our money at $16.5 million. How is this happening? What is the problem? I think that there's one group that's responsible that we've never really looked at before, and I think it's the donor. Yeah, the donor, you and me. We are so caught up in our egos and our ADD and our fear of saying no that we are stopping these do-gooders from making the incredible impact they really can. The distribution of our donations is everywhere. It's sprinkled. And so it makes effectively no impact at all. But don't worry, I think I have an answer. It's something that I like to call the starfishing principle. So you may have heard this parable of the old man on the beach. And if you have, that's too bad because I'm going to tell it to you again. So there's an old man and he's on a beach. And he sees this young boy. And the young boy, around his feet are scattered thousands and thousands of starfish. And he's picking them up one at a time and tossing them gently back into the ocean. And the old man says, "Son, what are you doing?" And the boy picks up another one and says, and tosses it back into the ocean. The old man says, "You can't possibly be making a difference." The young boy does it again and he says, "It made a difference to this one." The problem is, we're all standing on the beach, moving from starfish to starfish, trying to figure out how best to toss it back into the ocean. What if that boy went out and he found everybody that was as passionate about starfishing as he is? And he asked them to dedicate all of their volunteer hours just to that, and all of their discretionary income that they've devoted to charity giving just to that. Then he could hire the best and the brightest. They could clear the beach and maybe figure out why they got there in the first place and fix the problem so it never happened again. But instead, we go from starfish to starfish and say yes to everyone. I'm asking you to say no. What is that passion point that you have? Only give to that. We need to start investing and stop donating. So the next time the football player knocks on the door, sorry, coach, or the child selling cookies asks you to donate, think, am I sprinkling my donations? Am I making an impact? Just say no. Okay, Suzanne, but how do I know where to say no to? Everybody's asking. I believe that all of us can be categorized into 3 buckets. You're either a people, you're a plant, or you're an animal. I know, hold on. So I'm going to give you a virtual dollar, and I want you to think about this for a moment. What is your passion point? You can only put this dollar in one of those buckets. Don't feel bad about not putting it in the other 2, because there are lots of people that are going to put their dollars in the other buckets. Allow yourself to give to the thing that you're most passionate about. So which bucket are you? Let's say you're the plant bucket. The environment, that's your thing. That's the thing that makes your blood boil, the thing that makes you cry. It's the environment. Great, drill down. What specifically is it? It's the ocean, awesome. What about the ocean? Coral reefs, let's save them. Say yes to everybody who asks you to invest in fixing that problem, and say no to absolutely everybody else. Say yes to those people who are trying to fix the problem you are most passionate about, and allow yourself to say no to everybody else. That's how we make impact. One of the things that we hear over and over, and I've certainly heard it many times, when people experience that passion point, something happens, something changes them, and they say, I have to fix this. I have to do something so that that plant, that animal, that person never has to suffer, experience, feel that again. And so every year, thousands and thousands of nonprofits are started. In fact, today we have 1.5 million of them just in the United States. And yet, instead of looking for somebody who has the same passion point as we do, we insist on creating our own organization, our own nonprofit that needs resources and fuel to run. Because I know how to fix this. Nobody knows what I know. Nobody's felt what I felt. We need to check our egos at the door and stop worrying about whose name is on it, and instead stop creating and start collaborating. There are people out there who are making a difference just like you. Let's say animal welfare is your thing. GuideStar tells us that right now today, as we are sitting in this room, there are 23,000 animal welfare nonprofits in the United States. You don't need to create another one. Because if you do, we will now have 23,001 CEOs, staff, office space, technology support, marketing, all of those things that have to be funded before a single cent gets to go towards the problem that you are so passionate about. We need to stop donating, start investing, stop collaborating, stop creating, and start collaborating. When you make the choice to support a nonprofit, you're investing your time, your money, all of the knowledge you have, everything you bring to the table. Focus on one thing, that one passion point, that one problem, and be proud. Shout it from the rooftops. This is the thing. This is how I'm going to change the world. As a nonprofit, we need to bless and release you, and instead spend our limited resources finding people who carry the torch for our cause. You, as an investor, don't just consider your money, consider the knowledge and the time and the energy you can spend on changing the world. This year, I believe, if we apply that starfishing principle, we have over 390 billion chances to get it right. 390 billion chances to clear the beach. Thank you.